Okay, so let's go at solving these equations. Firstly, we want to get x's on one side. That is our goal. So what we do to one side, we do to the other side. So here we've got this plus 5. We can use inverse operations or substitute adding 5. The opposite is subtracting 5. Okay. Then we're left with x is equal to 9. Same here on the right hand side, we want x on its own. What's the opposite to subtracting 12? It's adding 12. So we have x is equal to 20. So here we want to get x on its own. So we use the inverse operation. So the opposite to multiplying by 3 is divided by 3. So we're left with x is equal to 7. Here we're dividing by 9. We want to get x on its own. So the opposite to divide by 9 is multiplying by 9. And then we have x is equal to 45. Okay. Notice I use a new line for each step and also for each new modified equation. Again, we want to get x on its own. So firstly we could aim to get 2x on its own. So how do we get 2x on its own? Use inverse operators. So the opposite to adding 1 is subtracting 1. So we've got 2x is equal to 4. Now we want x on its own, so the opposite to multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So we have x is equal to 2. Here, we want to firstly get 3x on its own. So we need to subtract 12 from both sides. So opposite to adding 12 is subtracting 12. So we have 3x is equal to 15. Now again we want x on its own, so we can divide by 3. So x is equal to 5. Okay, I want to get negative 4x by itself. What's the opposite to adding 18? Subtracting 18. So I have negative 4x is equal to negative 16. Then I want to get x on its own. What's the opposite to multiplying by negative 4? Dividing by negative 4. So here we have x. So we've got negative 16 divided by negative 4. That is equal to 4. We can plug this, or substitute this x equals 4 into the equation. So 18 minus 4 times 4, that's equal to 2. It's a good way of checking our answer. Here, second equation, we want x over 3 on its own. What's the opposite to subtracting 1? Adding 1. So we have x over 3 is equal to 7. Then we want x on its own. What's the opposite to divide by 3? Multiply by 3. So we have x is equal to 21. You notice that for each new step, each new equation, I have a new line. Okay, so here we're looking at two ways of solving this equation. So one approach could be getting negative x on its own. So how to get negative x on its own? We need to subtract 11 from both sides. So we've got negative x is equal to 4 minus 11 is equal to negative 7. Okay, now we want to get x on its own. So what's the opposite to multiply by negative 1? Divide by negative 1. So we're left with x is equal to, so negative 7 divided by a negative 1. So remember, a negative divided by a negative is equal to a positive. So x is equal to 7. Plug that in to here. So 11 minus 7 is equal to 4. Another way is you may not like to have negative x's by itself. You may prefer to turn it into a positive. So what you could do is just add x to both sides. As long as you do the same thing to both sides, it's perfectly fine. So here we have 11 is equal to 4 plus x. And now we want x to be on its own. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So 7 is equal to x. Or you can write it as x is equal to 7. Whatever is convenient for